Hello, everybody. Welcome to another funny roster stream. Today we're going to be doing Pokkén Tournament, and I'm going to undeafen everybody.
I should
Hello.
probably have tweeted this. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, we're
we
live
are
now.
live.
I'm going to tweet this out because I just realized I forgot.
I was about to ask
Whoops.
if yeah.
Yeah, cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next roster stream. In this one, I mean, you can see from the title, we're talking about Pokkén Tournament. It's myself, Slink, Shadowlink, and Huff. And joining us for this one specifically is Phantom.
Hi, what's up, gamers? How's everybody doing this morning? Oh, sorry.
Everyone having a good Easter weekend. Although I guess Easter's tomorrow. Today is the one day where there's no holiday. But yeah, we're gonna just so there aren't many rules for this one. Obviously, Pokkén had something around like 20 characters.
23, which is
23.
such a random number.
So Pokkén had about 23 characters. We decided to just do our usual 27 base roster, 9 DLC characters, because it just makes a nice I was going to say it makes a nice even rectangle for the stream, except Phantom has misclicked and made their roster slightly longer than it.
Yeah, reading comprehension is not their forte.
It's not reading comprehension. Was it math?
I mistyped the width dimension, so it's supposed to be 4,500, but I actually put 5,500. So even though I literally wrote it down, and in my head I was like, okay, my mental math says 4,500. All right, and I just mistyped it for somehow.
So did you accidentally include 8 extra characters?
No.
Okay.
My roster count is like 36. I just accidentally made the width of the canvas too big.
Yeah, so you know how how after every stream we make the
I'll fix this
Twitter
really fast.
No. So listen to me. So you know how we always on Twitter make those versions of the rosters which have our social tags on them?
Yeah.
Phantom thought that's what it needed to look like. So where it says his name, there are no icons over that.
Yeah, so it's 3 by 11 and then 3 more on the before his name on the bottom row.
There are 36 characters.
Okay,
Yeah.
I am going to try to zoom into whatever the hell this is going to look like then.
Yeah, we'll just have people just have to deal with people just have to deal with the black bars on the top and the bottom of this one, and then we'll swap to what it should be, and we'll just have to reconfigure the way Phantom's roster looks before we post it on social, I guess. Might be the easiest way.
So how am I handling your layers here? We're starting with Phantom, and
So,
I'm gonna put the roster on the screen.
The way that my roster is already set is that the first 6 we're just gonna blow right through. And then once you click the meat and potatoes folder, the next character is gonna be visible. You open that group, and then it'll be 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. And same with the DLC as well. It'll also be 1 by 1 by 1 by 1.
I'm just gonna hit on the first 6 then.
All right, let's go. Okay. So immediately when I was creating the roster, I felt like if I'm going to start with returning, if I was doing an actual fighting game announcement of a new Pokkén, I feel like the main thing I would want to get to is, okay, yeah, there's going to be new characters, but who's coming back first? And to me, when I was thinking about who are the most popular Pokemon, Pikachu, Charizard, Blaziken, Lucario, Gardevoir, and Mewtwo felt like the most appropriate, not just for a Pokemon fighting game, but also like as the most popular. Blaziken, I was a little bit iffy on at first, or whether it should be Blaziken or Gengar, but I felt like Blaziken would be like the main 6 I would really want to get into right away.
I would have personally done Machamp over Blaziken, because I feel like Machamp offers something that nobody else can do, whereas Blaziken, you know, it's a firefighting type, and based around kicks. There's a lot of Pokemon that can do stuff like that.
Machamp was one that I felt like I should have put here at first, considering the fact that I believe the game was announced with Lucario and Machamp.
Yes, it was revealed with Lucario, Machamp, and Pikachu, but there was a leak a long time beforehand that was just Lucario and Blaziken.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like Machamp should have been here, but I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, and if I want to make how far along do I want to make the roster? How far different do I want to make the roster from the original game? So as we go, as we continue going forward, even though when I was making my roster, I went by I organized it a certain way, which I'll say was by generation. In terms of actually putting the characters on the character select screen, I just went by what flowed by word of mouth. So like Pikachu, Charizard, Blaziken, Lucario, Gardevoir, Mewtwo, it just felt right to say. And then as we keep going, that's how I went based upon. I randomized it based upon what felt right to say in that order. So as we're going through it, the order of it is not going to make too much sense. In the sense of like, oh, did you go by type or did you go by generation?
Hypothetically, you
No,
could
not
just
really.
say, "This is our intended reveal order for them."
Yes, basically, yeah. That's kind of the way I was thinking about it. I was like, I want it to be revealed in this way too.
I'm looking at
honestly
the
surprised these are,
actual.
like-
I'm looking
Sorry.
at the actual roster from the game. The order doesn't make sense there. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. I had a discussion with Shockwad last night for like 20 minutes talking about the fucking CSS for the original game. What the fuck was happening there?
I don't like it. It looks really weird.
It looks weird. Nothing makes sense because there's like some parallels. Like Mewtwo is on the opposite side of Shadow Mewtwo, but Pikachu isn't on the opposite side of Pikachu Libre. And then like Machamp and Gengar are opposite of each other, which makes sense. They're trade evos.
Right.
And then if you do that with the other Pokemon, then you get shit like Brazen and Sceptile. It's like, oh yeah, you see, they have something in common. They both exist.
They're both starters, okay? And like Krogunk and Darkrai and Scizor, were they like new to Pokkén DX or like DLC?
They were
like,
added to the arcade game and not added to the Wii U, so they were just.
so they were new for home console players if you
Yeah.
got DX. So those kind of make sense.
I-
You're right.
I-
There are definitely some choice placements for some of these.
My favorite thing about Pokkén is that we got an odd number of characters because they added Blastoise and Aegislash to DLC.
Mhm.
But when they made DX, they got rid of the random button and replaced it with Decidueye. So now there's just one random missing square at the bottom right of the CSS, and it's like, you couldn't have added the random button back?
They don't need it
aren't there
because you now
two
just press
spaces?
X to random.
Oh, I guess.
It's just annoying.
There's
Yeah,
a
no,
weird
I
empty
get
space
it.
on the roster. It's strange.
Pokkén Deluxe really feels like it was intended to have more DLC and it just didn't sell very well, so they cancelled it. It's the vibe I got. But yeah, I'm surprised that these are like, I'm assuming these are the only 6 returning characters then on this roster. No?
I'll tell you right now, no. they're
Oh,
not the
okay,
only returns.
alright.
I will say though, not everybody returns.
Okay.
That's already clearly a given, but definitely not everybody returns.
Alright, fair enough. Shall we jump into the next one then?
Yo, we'll start with the meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Low kicks.
Nice.
I felt like one of the things that I was doing as I was going through my roster was I was not only going in terms of generation order, of like I want to include this many Pokemon per generation, but also I listed off their typing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I felt like the typing was not being, if a type was being underrepresented, I want to at least not only get that representation, but I also felt like what are some cool Pokemon I could add from a new generation that never got a chance to be in Pokkén because it came out way later. And I feel like Low Kicks is kind of one of those. I would just naturally fit given like some of its Sentai or like Kamen Rider aesthetics, the fact that it would be potentially like really small, so I think adding a smaller fighter would be kind of interesting as well. But the aesthetics around it are really what drove me to adding Low Kicks to the roster.
Yeah, Low Kicks is one I had on my list, but I didn't include in my final roster. But it is a pretty cool one, like just to have a bug type, and it's obviously very combat focused. It's literally in the name, so I think it's a pretty cool choice. I'm trying to remember like Pokemon to scale, like how big Low Kicks is.
Low Kicks is not that big.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Low Kicks isn't
So you have to,
very
like, make it
big,
bigger.
but I think it's bigger than.
No,
I want to
no,
say
you,
it's like a little bit shorter than Lucario.
Okay.
you need Pokemon to scale, so it has to be really tiny.
Okay, so
like
I need,
Yoda and Soul Calibur.
I need to ask a question. What generation is this Pokemon from?
It's the
9.
latest
Generation
one.
9.
Generation
9.
9.
Okay. So, last night I prepared my roster, and I had a bunch of people tell me Pokemon that I could put on. Obviously, most of them were jokes because my friends are assholes.
I want you to know, I was there. I suggested Flamigo 13 times.
I love Flamingo. That's one of my favorite.
He's so
Pokemon
stupid.
movies.
He's just a flamingo.
He's
I
cute.
love him. I
Okay,
love him.
Smack
but
people with his head.
the point is, for any Pokemon after Gen 4, there was a 75% chance that I would just reply with, "Who? What?"
Yeah, you didn't remember Tranquil. How do you not remember Tranquil? He's so iconic.
See, here's the thing. I'm not upset at you or anything, because when it comes to Generation 8 and 9, I completely blank out on a lot of the Pokemon. That's like when I start taking a lot of kind of like, oh, I don't know who these Pokemon are.
So
That's me with Gen 6 and any legendary after Gen 7.
the point that I want to get around to about this Pokemon, about low kicks, is I clicked on this slot. I clicked it to put it on the stream, and my brain immediately went, "What the fuck? That's not a real Pokemon."
Slink, we've got a super chat and it's a question for you.
Who is
Omega
Pokemon
J12 wants to know who's
633?
Pokemon 633.
Is that Amoongus? Please tell me.
No, I hate the fact that I
That'd be
know
a
the
Kalos
Pokemon.
I think.
I know the Pokemon off the top of my head explicitly because I know where this shitty joke is going.
Go on, do you want to say it then, Huff?
Yeah,
That is a Kalos
Dino these nuts.
Dino these nuts.
Dino.
Yeah, that's where the joke was going. It's Dino.
Dino,
Oh,
yeah.
Dana. Wait, Dana is 633?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a Gen 5 Pokemon.
Wow, that's Gen 5, not Gen 6. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
good.
You gotta remember, there's like over
Oh, that's right,
100
there's like
Pokemon per
150
generation.
Pokemon in Generation 5.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Look, if you wanted to be funny, you should have gone with Gulpin, because Gulpin is, as a Pokemon, also objectively funny.
Yeah.
with Slugma.
Alright, moving on.
Alright. Who's next? I don't
Who's
know.
I'm just remembering the Slugma I had on a recent Pokemon game that I just called Slugma Balls.
Oh yeah, I forced you to do that.
There you go, another returning fighter. Chandelure. So once again, yeah, I went based upon what would sound just by in terms of name. So low kicks, Mewtwo, low kicks, Chandelure. I was like, okay, yeah, that I like the way that sounds. I felt like Chandelure was a good pick to have as a ghost, given that there aren't. I'll say that within my base roster, I do not believe I didn't add, in comparison to like the amount that is in the rest of the roster, there isn't a lot of ghost types, and I still feel like Chandelure was one of the most interesting to like because of its design inherently. It's a chandelier, but I also I like the way that it animated. I think it just looks really pretty. So. And its stage as well, or at least I guess the ghost stage in general. So that stage with along with company with Chandelure, it felt like the two go hand to hand. Unfortunately, there's Pokemon that didn't make the cut. I will just say right now, Gengar is not one of those Pokemon that I decided to include. I felt like there were other Pokemon that I wanted to include, but Chandelure is like, if I wanted to have a ghost type that remains, one of the ghost type that remains from the main original roster, Chandelure would be the one.
Yeah, I agree with you that Chandelure is definitely the most interesting of all the ghost types to keep around. It was like one of the coolest Pokemon revealed for first Pokkén, and it's actually really good. I'm surprised at what you're saying about ghost types though, because I felt like when I was making my roster that like I looked over my list and there were loads of ghost types on there.
Yeah, I had a lot of ghost type ideas that I didn't end up going with. I thought about Dragapult. I thought about Golurk.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I had Ceruledge on mine at one point.
I had that too.
Yeah. But didn't go with them.
Alright.
I had so many ghost types that I joked that my roster was actually just made by Creeks.
Alright, next. Duraludon. So a lot of people feel really like look at me very weirdly when I say this. I think Duraludon is like one of my favorite recent designs in a Pokemon game. And I think he's not only really cute but also really cool. And I decided to choose the original form rather than his evolution, because I like this design more, and I felt like having somebody who's like short in stature, but also probably like a heavy set character, like a slow heavy character, would be an interesting mix into like the different types of different kind of like body diversity that you can get when it comes to Pokemon. Like a lot of these Pokemon that are gonna be here, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, are standing on 2 feet, but I tried to include ones that are on all fours or that would have like different body types. This being one of them.
You said Duraludon's got short stature, but isn't it like based on a skyscraper?
It's based
Yeah,
on a
but
skyscraper, but
it's
not
only
that
like
tall.
5'11".
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not that.
okay.
If you compare it in size to other Pokemon, it's like not that tall. I think like if you put it next to like an Abomasnow, the Abomasnow is like at its stomach or something.
Damn. It's more about Abomasnow to me than Duraludon.
Alright.
Yeah.
Next up.
Mhm.
Oh my bad.
I was just gonna say, fucking Abomasnow's massive for some reason. That thing's like
Yeah.
8 foot tall.
It's the abominable snowman.
I feel like Golisopod is kind of like, it felt so obvious, but it also felt like how could you not? The Golisopod is a really cool Pokemon from Generation 7. The Pokemon that Guzma had. And even of course that's not the reason. Like it's not like Guzma's gonna be in Pokkén or anything like that. But that's like one of the reasons that I was like, oh, Golisopod is a very popular Pokemon from Generation 7. Has a very interesting design. It's beloved by a lot of people that I know. So it's like, okay, let's include him here. I guess while you could say, well, not you could say, he kind of literally is. Shiftry would be like the kind of samurai type Pokemon. I feel like Golisopod's body armor represents that better. And thus, that kind of led me to, that's an interesting design aspect that I would want to feature in the roster. As well as
Shiftry's
just
more of
having
like
an interesting design in general.
Shiftry's more of like a Tengu, I think, like in terms of its design.
Yeah,
Shiftry's
it
a
is, yeah.
Tengu.
I always viewed Shiftry as a samurai. That's interesting.
No, Samurott obviously a samurai.
That's true too. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's others, because Bisharp wouldn't count as a samurai, but as a sword. I don't know if I'd count Gallade as a samurai either.
What would a King Gambit be?
Bisharp
King
and
Gambit-
Gallade are knights.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Yeah, King Gambit is like meant to be like Shogun-esque, but I still don't. It sticks with the chess theme, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it a samurai.
King Gambit, I think, is like supposed to be a leader
Right.
of.
It's a game.
Yeah, because it's king.
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember the term, but like the leader of a samurai clan.
Is
But is he
it
not?
the-
He's meant to be like a
Shogun?
shogun. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like, yeah.
daimyo. That's the word I was looking for.
Daimyo.
Oh, there you go.
Is he meant to be a daimyo?
I always thought he was, just because.
I mean, I guess.
Yes, he is.
Daimyo is just one step behind shogun. Maybe if he gets a Mega Evolution, he'll become shogun finally.
If you look at like the what a daimyo wears, like where it has like the pointed shoulders on their garb, that like is basically like the same thing as King Gambit.
Nah, fair enough. All right, what we got next?
All right, next up. Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Roulette,
another
there we go.
obvious one is like, yeah, you kind of, its body is in a sense like built to just be in a fighting game. It has 2 swords on arms, literally two swords for arms, literally one of the coolest designs ever. I think at least. So the fact that its body proportion is already like built in a sense of, there is an inherent like fighting stance or fighting capabilities in regards to the Pokemon's design. Very popular, very cool. Immediately I was like, okay, yeah, let's throw him in here and let's do it earlier rather than later, because even though I'd be like, oh yeah, Cerulean is gonna be one of the cool Pokemon added to the game, I feel like everybody would be expecting that, so I decided to put him here a lot earlier than later, rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, Cerulean is like one of the ones that feels really obvious for a new Pokkén game. Like I said, I almost put him on mine, but I was worried about having too many ghosts and too many Gen 9 Pokemon as well. There were better choices from the games that I went with instead. But yeah, alright.
Decidueye. Yep. So that's she goes back to back.
Mhm.
I felt like keeping Decidueye because Decidueye was like the all-star. I don't even say all-star, but like the star of Pokkén DX as like the new reveal. So I felt keeping this character kind of felt appropriate, not to like. It felt appropriate to keep him here since it was something that we got. That was also pretty exciting. Especially with, I think, keeping it consistent, at least in my head, that okay, Incineroar, because I was considering Incineroar at first, but I was like, Incineroar is in Smash Brothers, the Decidueye's here. I feel like let's keep that they're Alolan starters that are in fighting games. So let's just move on with that track and keep a Decidueye here.
Yeah.
As well as also having a grass representative.
Cool.
Alright.
What we got next?
Never Roserade.
Right. Speaking of grass types.
Yeah, grass. So grass and poison type Roserade. I felt like when I went to Gen 4 for picks, I was like, who would be interesting to see fight? And I felt having, although Roserade's like masquerade, so it kind of would be, you kind of would, I guess, think more of like somebody that would be in the shadows, or somebody that's like, a secret agent, like, that type of nature. All I could picture was the fact that, given that Roserade's hands are literally flowers, it felt interesting to see kind of a Pokemon. In my head, it felt fun to visualize a Pokemon that would be dancing with bouquets in their hands. And that's why I felt like Roserade would be like, oh, that's like perfect. That Roserade would fit that perfectly. And that's why she's here.
Yeah, Roserade is a choice I did not think of, like, at all. So that's a pretty interesting pick to have on here, because I can see it, I can visualize it, but I just didn't think at all about the entire line.
Yeah, I thought of it, but then I remembered, like, man, if I do a grass poison type, I could do something way stupider and do Bellsprout.
Bellsprout would be fun to see though, because it's also like annoying to me, but it's also like really goofy. So it'd be like the goofy stance fighters or something like that.
Yeah, I always think about like Gen 1 anime where Ash almost lost to a Bellsprout in the Pokemon League.
Don't underestimate the Bellsprouts.
Although I want to say the potted plant in the chat. Yeah, you just got here, but I'm the first person that's doing the roster, so you have not missed much.
All right.
Next up, Caesar. Yeah.
Caesar.
Felt like Pokemon was naturally made to be in a fighting game. Felt appropriate. I don't really have much more to say. I was like, okay, yeah, definitely. If we're gonna have a him, okay, go ahead. Makes sense. Mienshao. All right. Now, I began playing Tekken 7 very recently, which is funny because Tekken 8 is already out. But my computer can't run Tekken 8. My laptop can, and I didn't know it until afterwards. But I started playing Tekken 7, and the character that I like playing in Tekken 7 is Lydia, who is a stance fighter. So immediately my mind went to, okay, how could I get a character that could kind of mimic what the character that I like to play? And I was like, oh, Mienshao could be a stance fighter, and that's why she's here. I was like, when I went to Gen 5, I was like, okay, who's Pokemon that I can include? And it was hard to pick on. In general, it was hard to pick Pokemon because there's so many that I feel like they are just made to be in a fighting game, like they would fit perfectly. Or there are also like fan favorites like Zoroark, that would be like, okay, put them in there. Of course, I love Zoroark as well. I love Zoroark. My name is a Zoroark reference. But Mienshao was like the one that came to mind. I was like, okay, yeah, I think having a stance fighter with Mienshao serving as that function would be very interesting.
Wait, so that's what the Z in your name is a reference to?
so when I was a kid, and the Pokemon and Zoroark movie was coming out. It came out it was getting promoted in Japan first. there was one of the alternate titles for the film was called what was it, the Champion of Phantoms, and they used the letter Z, and the Z is supposed to stand for Zoroark. So I was like, oh, Zoroark would be Phantom Z. So whenever I catch a Pokemon in the games, I always name it Phantom Z because my name is supposed to be Phantom Z too. It is literally a reference to Zoroark. But when I tell people what the Z stands for, I changed it because my character's name is Zero, so it's like it means Phantom 02 because also there's more than one zero.
Yeah, because that's what I assumed it was, because I remember you mentioning that before.
Yeah, it's like it's supposed to be. I've changed the Z to have its own meaning, but the name inherently is a reference to the Zoroark movie.
It's ancient origin. It's
Yeah,
Zoroark. Yeah, Main Show is another one like Roserade where I totally see it, but I just did not think of this Pokemon at all. There are so many Pokemon out there.
There are so many options. Like, I said this pre-stream, and I don't know if I got it picked up. Pokemon is probably the series I just straight up know the most about. I play it competitively. Like, I know way too much shit about this franchise. I have 137 icons made for this, and we only needed 36.
you were prepared. That means you also had like icons already ready for people that were like, I want to add this character, and they don't have to make it themselves. So
yeah, so I thought of a lot of options. Too many.
I think if they were to do like their Pokemon Tenkaichi game, that's where all those 136 characters are gonna be in.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're gonna fucking ever need. Hang on, what was a really weird one I made?
I remember when I opened the PSD file, Dracofish was the first Pokemon. I was
Yeah,
like, that's interesting. I was like, Dracofish and Arctozolt, really?
Hey,
Or the Dracozolt?
Yeah.
Neospace in chat asks, what does Heatran do?
Oh yeah, dude, I love Heatran. He's my favorite Pokemon. His all of his Dex entries only talk about. So Heatran, legendary Pokemon, lives in volcanoes, causes volcanoes to erupt. All of its Dex entries all that the Dex entries ever fucking talk about is how it can walk on walls and ceilings for some fucking reason.
Yeah. The volcano spider. That's it.
Why is that the one thing it talks about?
I don't know. It's very strange. He's like there are interesting things that can be done with Heatran. And
I don't know.
he can crawl on walls.
Like walking on walls.
Mm-hmm.
And ceilings. Don't forget the ceilings. It gives him his identity.
Right, up next, we got Barbacle. Yeah, the really weird pick.
What a choice.
Yeah,
I'm happy you went with this. I love Barbaracle. He's awesome.
there is of the Gen 6 Pokemon. I was like, oh snap. Barbacle doesn't really get used that much, or I think he is in the recent DLC, but
Yes, I think he is.
he is like one of the most forgettable Pokemon to me. And I was like, what if we do something with that and include him in a fighting? I mean, he does look like a Spider-Man villain. Like he looks like a superhero villain. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's put Barbacle in there. I don't know for sure how he would animate, how they would use his the hands that he has on his shoulders and stuff like that. But I feel like including him is going to be a very out there pick where it's like somebody's going to be weirded out, but going to have a lot of fun with this character. Granted, if he ends up doing really cool stuff.
I can hear Slink being confused about this Pokemon from here. Like, what is this? Is this real?
Yeah.
No, this one's legit. Don't worry about it.
All right. What's up next?
Aegislash, yeah.
Aegislash, yeah.
Two Gen 6 Pokemon back to back. I felt like of the two DLC characters that Pokkén Tournament DX had, Aegislash was the one I was like, yeah, definitely keep Aegislash. He's already like really cool, interesting design. There is no need to remove him. Whereas for Blastoise, can't say the same. Blastoise is not here. So I'll let you know that right now. Blastoise is not in this list. Between Charizard and Blastoise, I was like, if I'm gonna add, one of the starters, Charizard, no question. Even if I don't like Charizard personally, I like Blastoise more. Charizard easy. Like you can't go wrong. Yeah, no Blastoise. Sorry.
I just want to comment. I find it funny that you said you were iffy on ghost types, and currently you have like 4.
Yeah, I think that's it though. I think that might be it for the base roster.
Okay.
For the base roster.
Actually, wait, I lied. There is one more other ghost type.
I don't have that many ghosts, just 6.
Alright, up next, Suicune.
Hey.
Was a quadruped Pokemon. I like the way that it animates already. There is another Pokemon I included here that is meant to be related to how I viewed Suicune, going forward into like a new Pokkén game. So that is part of the reason why Suicune has returned, and I'll get into that more of that reasoning when we get to that next Pokemon. Not that they are next, but when we get to that Pokemon later. But Suicune, I felt like is very interesting. I love it's 2 like ballet tails or whatever. I love those design aspects. Crystal was my favorite. Was my first handheld video game ever. My first Pokemon game, my first video game essentially. If you don't count, Pac-Man, then so I already felt okay. Yeah, Suicune, I have to leave just out of my own history with the franchise, and also I already love the way it is. It's already here. Why not? Why remove it? Yeah, I think it is the only quadruped. So yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, Suicune stays. No need to remove them.
Yeah.
All right. Hawlucha. Yeah, so if Incineroar couldn't be here, Hawlucha is definitely going to take that that kind of wrestling space while also being a flying type Pokemon. I feel like there's a lot of interesting like air grabs and stuff like that you could do. So Hawlucha just felt like the immediate put him in there. Just it makes sense to me.
So this is instead of Pikachu Libre as well, which fills that role in.
Yes, Pikachu Libre is also not returning. I felt like because we're going just doing 36, it felt like I don't want to, even though there are still more returning characters, I didn't want too much of this limited new roster to be returning characters, and thus Pikachu Libre was the one where I had to cut, potentially being like, oh well, we could add Pikachu Libre as a skin for Pikachu, or maybe change up Pikachu's moveset to incorporate both aspects of Pikachu and Pikachu Libre. But I felt like, just for the sake of simplicity and not trying to overcomplicate it too much with that
Pikachu
part.
As is. He's basically a Mishima.
Right. So I was like, let's do that.
We got another donation from Lisbon who donated 1,000 yen.
Whoa.
And said you should put Thufaizer on the roster. I do not know what that
I don't know who that is.
means. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Thufaizer Pokemon. Oh, it's the I know now.
Oh yeah, that's
it's the fusion of
Articuno,
Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno.
Oh,
From the I didn't know that's what it had a
manga?
name. Yeah, from the manga.
I thought it had a different name, and then for whatever reason, I thought he was making like a Pfizer joke, like the fucking COVID vaccine.
COVID
Yeah, that's what I
vaccine.
thought. I thought the joke was too.
Where's the Zare? Because I get Thu and Fi being thunder and fire, but where's Zare in this? That's not ice, or water, or flying.
I think that might be how it's said in Japanese.
Oh yeah, apparently it's freezer.
Freezer.
Yeah.
For
Okay,
Articuno. Sure, why not? I guess.
Okay.
Should have just called it Thufaice or something then. If you're gonna do, they were gonna do that. Although if we're talking about Pokemon manga ones, I would have definitely put Eevee with the ability to like transform into between Jolteon, Moltres, Flareon, and Vaporeon at will.
Nah, dude, you
like
gotta do
that
the guy
easy.
that can transform to Zekrom, because what the fuck was that manga about?
Yeah,
Pokemon Rebirth is great. I love Pokemon Rebirth.
Pokemon Rebirth is very funny.
Pokemon Rebirth is hilarious. I don't think I'd call it good.
I love it. I would love a video game based on that. As somebody who really loves Digimon Frontiers, having that with Pokemon is just the immediate. Yeah, I'm absolutely down. I do not care what you do with this, other than just making it exist.
That's how we get around the no trainer rule we had.
Mhm.
But yeah, Holucha. I feel like a Pikachu Libre is like the real hurdle for Holucha getting onto anything because they basically do the same thing.
Yeah, but Pikachu Libre doesn't exist anymore.
I feel like given like Holucha with flying capabilities, you could have it do what Pikachu Libre does and more, like so much easy, like just immediate. Oh yeah, this character does is like it is that world and more. Here you go. All right, up next,
Alright, up next.
Napoleon or something. I forgot. I wasn't sure if Napoleon was next, but yeah. When it came to Gen 4, I was like, okay, we need a water starter. And we already have like water with Suicune, but like a water starter, and Napoleon was already so like okay, makes sense. There's a water steel type. I'm fine with it being back. I don't necessarily have anything more to say other than that. It's just like yeah, I felt like Napoleon was the one where it's like I don't hear too many people talk about Napoleon, but I also still like Napoleon. Like that was the when I was playing through Platinum, I went with Piplup and Napoleon, whereas when I first played Diamond, I went with Torterra. So, but Napoleon was like, yeah, that's fine to be here. It's not because it's popular, but it's not because it's it needs to be represented more. But like it was already here, and it's natural now at this point.
Yeah, Napoleon's the best Gen 4 starter, and it's a good pick for the water. For having a water
the best Gen 4 starter, really?
Yes, it is.
You think so? Really?
I think so.
Wow, how can you be
I already
so
said what
penguin?
mine is, which is Turtwig. I love Turtwig. Turtwig is a little cute dude.
Piplup all the way.
All right.
It's the Emperor Penguin and made of steel. Torterra can do nothing.
I got a tree on my back.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about the tree? How do you beat the tree?
I don't need to sit under a tree. I already am a tree.
Permanent shade. It's fine, I can breathe underwater.
Zangoose. So Zangoose is a favorite of mine. I feel like when it came to wanting to represent a normal type, I was like, a pure normal type kind of works perfectly. Zangoose fits in the sense of where I could see it fighting. I could have went the Ferret route because I was like, oh, Ferret's really cute. I think it'd be really fun to see that.
Ferret would be very
Ferret fighting. But at the same time, I was like, it was very difficult for me to figure out in my head in which ways Ferret would animate, and also if I'm still thinking of the mindset of the both phases being in Pokkén, the camera angle from I think it's called the dual phase.
Yeah, dual phase and
battle
phase.
Just call it 2D and 3D.
Yeah, the aspect, the camera of the one that's kind of like lower angled camera. I felt like in some parts I was like Ferret would be blocking. For part of Ferret's body would be blocked off and behind the camera, because of how long its body is. So I felt like, okay, what's another like pure normal type that I can include that would also fit the type that I'm going for, but also still fit in regards to fighting. And I felt like from Generation 3, Zangoose would be perfect.
All right, we got another super chat from Decoy. Says, "I'm going to just for 1,000 yen. I'm going to destroy Lisbon. You should add Borleo instead."
What is this?
I don't know what that is either.
Oh,
that's the fake.
The fake mon for
that's the fake leak of Poplio's final evolution.
The clown one.
Okay, I was thinking to myself, like, what is that? What?
I didn't know he had a name.
That came to me instantly, and I hate that it did.
Clowny clown.
My only real comment on Zangoose is just, I told this to Slink. I don't remember if I posted it in the group chat, but the only two types that were not in Pokkén, like represented in terms of playable form, were normal and rock. So, I made it a priority to pick one of each.
Yeah. I think if rock might be the one type I don't have on mine.
How did you not pick my boy Geo, dude?
Barbacle was I think the only rock that I had potentially. I think Barbacoa is like the only rock that got added. Oh, that's already, I guess,
Here
letting
you go,
right now,
man.
there
You
are
can make
no
a quick
rocks.
edit and put them on.
No Golem, no Geodude.
No. I was thinking about Onyx at one point though. I was like, Onyx would be interesting, but I would say
Onyx.
that's like too big to would
Same
kinda
problem
work
as
with the
Ferret.
cameras. Yeah.
Yeah.
That the length of the body kind of makes it in my head just like it doesn't work. Or I can't think of a way to make it work, but that's already sticking within the limitations of what Pokkén is right now. If they change up the way Pokkén plays, then they could easily make it work.
All right, what we got next?
Thank you for the 1,010 yen from Lisbon. Valio should be cast down into the depths of hell. You should add Beta Kingdra from the Space World League instead.
Oh gosh.
What's
Beta
that?
Kingdra look like?
Yeah, I don't remember what Beta Kingdra looked like.
That's a really nice design actually.
It's pretty similar to Seadra. It just has arms, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, arms. Yeah, it can just run. It can just crawl on the ground and run its arms. That's fine.
I actually do like that design a lot. Interesting. I like it better than the Kingdra we got. To be completely honest.
Give Kingdra back his arms. Yeah, it looks more like the Beta Kingdra looks more like a dragon.
Like a little baby dragon, which is
and
like a what?
Evolution. Like a baby dragon.
Like a baby dragon with its mustache.
Like a what?
baby dragon. Baby dragon. Is this a reference to something? Baby dragon. Why does that sound familiar?
Baby Dragon is a Yu-Gi-Oh. I was referring to.
Okay. Like that does sound familiar. I should know that.
You said like a dragon, and
Oh.
I suddenly woke up. I woke up. Congratulations.
Like a baby dragon.
All right, next up.
Yeah, Ursaluna. So, for the icon, I was kind of questioning whether I should put Blood Moon Ursaluna in there as well. I feel like it would just be easier to say it. Like, yeah, I think the idea of having Blood Moon Ursaluna to be like some type of install for the character would be really, really fun. And also, I wanted to add, somebody else like Kuma from Tekken. So I was like, okay, yeah, literally the bear. Now I could have did Ursaring, but I think Ursaluna kind of has like the more wider, heavy-set stature, where it kind of bends over, similar to just like how Kuma does in Tekken, rather than Ursaring, who stands up more, who is more fierce in its stance. So that's completely why I went for Ursaluna.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you did
anything
this.
from Legends Arceus.
I'm really glad you did this because I was gonna put Ursaluna on mine, and then I forgot, and it didn't make it onto the final roster.
Damn.
Someone's got you.
Okay.
Next. So Volley, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. And another quadruped. That's so this is one of the big reasons why I wanted to add. This is one of the things that I tried to do with the roster was, okay, see, Suikun was already going to stay because it's already one quadruped. Then now we have Ursaluna, who could also move like a quadruped as well, but while also having the ability to stand on 2 feet. Savali as well, being one that can is also a quadruped. And I feel like utilizing the fact that it's a normal type Pokemon, but also has ability to change its typing. So I think the fact that during battle it would be able to use a variety of attacks that are a range of different types would be interesting.
Yeah, Savali's a good pick. He would almost made it onto my roster. I did consider them specifically because they were a quadruped, and the type thing as well. But it just didn't make the cut, unfortunately. I also did consider whether or not type Null might also be an option, because that's the one that they have throughout the game.
Yeah,
I feel like
they effectively have a lot of overlap. Like, type Null is essentially just Savali constrained with a
right,
whatever the fuck you want to call that, mask.
Yeah, it's like it has a name, I'm pretty sure. It's like an arc helmet, I think it's called.
That sounds right. I just don't know what to...
Yeah, I don't know.
Both of them effectively fill the same role in niche. It really just comes down to personal preference.
Hmm. But yeah, no, okay. Next one, Shimp. That's a legendary from the new game, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Pokemon I literally know nothing about.
I have not caught it. I don't really know anything about it either. I just like the way it looks. And it was so going back to Suicune, I felt like these two kind of, I think it would be interesting to see them fight. You have one that controls ice and one that is of water. So even though like they're of similar typing in terms of like it's a similar typing in terms of like how they would like relativity in nature, I also still feel like that would be like an interesting rivalry between two quadrupeds that are like similar in nature, but also like one might have an advantage, but you have like the kind of more fierce blade, like saber-tooth blades coming out of Chien-Pao's mouth, but like the very elegant like moves of Suicune.
It just sort of based on like just how the design for Chien-Pao looks. I feel like Suicune's a lot more focused on ranged attacks and magical ice, and whereas Chien-Pao is a lot more close quarters.
Yeah.
Just purely based on looks.
Nanton, you just said that two different ways in the same sentence.
Oh, did I? What?
How did you say it again?
How did I say it?
You said Chien-Pao.
Chien-Pao.
Oh, the name. Yeah, you did say the name two different ways.
I don't know how Chien-Pao. I don't know how to pronounce it. I know nothing about this Pokemon.
Just a brief, quick thing. Chien-Pao, it is the Sword of Ruin brought to life. Essentially, like this sword that was used by a warrior, came to life due to the hatred for the king, and it came forth in a form of a snow leopard.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Chien-Pao's cool. It has the ability, like, Sword of Ruin, I think it's called, and with it, it makes all Pokemon's defense in the vicinity instantly drop.
Oh, okay, shit.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
Pretty
I hate this thing. I play competitive. I hate this fucker.
Wait, does that also include, like, your own teammate? Like, you're doing double battles?
Oh, God, I think so?
Oh, I guess if you have a Pokemon with really high defense, I guess that can be appropriate. If you have one that can increase its own defense, maybe.
Or you can just run a fast offensive Pokemon and say, fuck it, just go.
That's true, too, yeah.
Chien-Pao, Regigigas duo.
All right, next up.
Yeah, so, like, I know what I said about Zoroark. However, this is a Hisuian Zoroark, so it's different.
Totally different.
Yeah, very popular Pokemon. Zoroark was already popular. Hisuian Zoroark was more popular. Normal ghost, so interesting typing already. I was like, okay, let's include that one. The normal and also another ghost. This is the final ghost of the base roster, by the way. Just letting you know right now.
Of the base roster.
Of the base roster.
Of your limited amount of ghost type Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, but I was like, yeah, Zoroark is interesting, but rather than taking just regular Zoroark as a Gen 5 representation, because I still view, even though, you know, if you go to like if you ask, hey, what generation is Ursaluna from, people are going to say Gen 8 because it is from Legends Arceus, which is a Gen 8 game. But I still view these variant forms as representation of the gen that it originally comes from. So Zoroark, I was like, okay, if I want to represent Gen 5, but I want to kind of cross the boundary a little bit of it being being representative of Gen 5, but also of Pokemon Legends Arceus. So Hisuian Zoroark felt like, okay, yeah, that one fits, and also I think it's just better Zoroark, unfortunately. Like, I really love Zoroark's design, but Hisuian Zoroark kind of blows it out the water.
I mean, this is true. Its shiny variant is
shiny
so
is
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, I actually forgot about Hisuian Zoroark. I don't have Zoroark on my roster either, if anyone was wondering. But for some reason, when I was thinking of Pokemon from Legends Arceus, I only thought of Ursaluna and the Stantler one. I didn't even think. I completely forgot there was a Hisuian Zoroark. Yeah, Weird Deer. I couldn't remember his name. Those are like just and the new
Sneasler?
Weevils. Sneasler, yeah, that's it. I thought of that one because I considered Sneasler, but I didn't go with it in the end.
I was considering Sneasler too.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, not this time.
Yeah, see, this is Mr. Rhyme.
Mr. Rhyme. So, wanted to represent ice types. Well, also I felt like if we're going to the Galar region for representation, Mr. Rhyme would be an out there pick, but it'll also be like a ice type tap dancer would be really cool to see animated. So that's why I put Mr. Rhyme in, specifically because I have those like things like ice type and the dancing motif. So that it was pretty like, interesting. Okay, let's put him in.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Mr. Rhyme and I thought about Mr. Rhyme, and then I decided I didn't like Mr. Rhyme, so I didn't include them. But yeah, it is one of the picks.
Up next.
This is your last base game one, right?
The last base game character.
Oh boy!
Ice Rider Calyrex. All right. So
I also thought about this.
I thought about Calyrex.
So at first I was like, should I put Glestier or a Spectrier? And I was like, well, there's already too many ghost types, and I don't have too many ice types. Let's do the ice type one. And I decided to do this combination because it technically counts as one Pokemon. When you're playing as it in the game, it technically counts as one Pokemon. The stats change, but in name it's just Calyrex. So like, okay, how about literally like a knighted Pokemon, or like a Pokemon that is also on the horse of another Pokemon. So I feel like if you're going to do like the final reveal, something interesting like this would be perfect to kind of cap it off on, with more to leave for DLC. It feels so interesting that I would want to see that happen. I think that's a very interesting combination.
Yeah, my big brainy boy on his horse. It was a really funny idea when I was thinking about potential Pokemon I wanted to include, specifically like quadrupeds. I was like, oh, are there any horses I could throw in there? And I genuinely thought about this a lot, and I just decided in the end I was going to do something different. But I'm glad somebody did it.
I wasn't sure if to include them separately on their own at first. I was like, do I want to make it that is just the horse, or do I want to make it that it's Calyrex? I was like, oh wait, I can put them. You can put them both together. They literally do that. So I was like, it's immediately.
If I just combined them,
right?
It's perfect.
All right. Now, onto the DLC, which
all right. Well, we
first guy is gonna be Shadow Mewtwo. Yeah. I felt like although I don't like it when a character that was already in the game originally gets made to be DLC, or when a character that was DLC before, even though Shadow Mewtwo wasn't. Oh, yeah, he wasn't DLC before.
He wasn't DLC, no.
Yeah, but when a character like is DLC and then was already DLC and then they get made to be DLC again, although I don't like it, I do at the same time feel like it is something that would happen. And I wanted to tap into that little bit of reality, the fact that this is probably going to happen. Also, Shadow Mewtwo is really cool. He's an original Pokemon for Pokkén, so original air quotes. So yeah, he needs to be back. I feel like you can't have Pokkén without him, so he'd probably be like a pre-order, like, hey, get this character early by pre-order, or once the game. All right, the first DLC character will be him, and like the first month or two of the game being out.
Yeah, Shadow Mewtwo has an amiibo. How many other Pokemon have an amiibo?
Yeah, the card, right?
Yeah, the amiibo card.
I want that card so badly.
I have that card.
I want you to know it does nothing.
Pokkén is that card.
It doesn't do anything? It doesn't do anything for Pokkén?
It unlocks Shadow Mewtwo early.
No, in DX, it literally doesn't work.
Oh yeah, in DX it doesn't do anything.
Why did they do that?
Oh, because it's probably already in the roster, is it not?
Yeah, it's already everything's unlocked from the start, so it's pointless.
Wow.
Yeah, but you couldn't have it unlock fucking a costume or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a character avatar item or something. Like, give it something, man.
They knew that they would have to make more, so they were like, well, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the only amiibo that works in one thing.
All right.
Up next, Hisuian type place. There's your other ghost type. Yeah, I wanted to represent. I love of the Gen 2 starters. I love all of them. I really like my favorite being Chikorita. I love Chikorita, Beleaf, Meganium, my favorite starters. However, I understand that a lot of people don't like them. And although I also like Feraligatr, I felt like because Typhlosion just got something, and the way how different it is from regular Typhlosion, from Johtonian Typhlosion, I was like, this is an interesting idea that I would like to see, like kind of like a more laid back isn't the word, but I guess a more something about Typhlosion's movement, especially in regards to his flame, is a lot more. It flows into like flow, like kind of like flows like water, even though it's fire. And I think that is interesting. So I would like I think Hisuian Typhlosion would be like an interesting kind of character fighter in that way, which is why I included them as I felt like the UTC for them is dope.
Bro's just vibing, eating his spirits.
Up next, Deoxys. Deoxys is a very threatening Pokemon. And every time we see it, it is some sort of threat. And I felt like having a threat appear within the DLC would be perfect. I also, the fact that I can switch between 3 other different forms could make for a lot of, also another type of stance character as well, as you would be fighting. So the amount of variety that Deoxys is included within and of itself made them feel like a perfect choice for a DLC. I think I lied about there being no more returning characters though. So the next fighter, yeah, Darkrai.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I really love Darkrai. Didn't want to include them in base though, because I wanted to get more new Pokemon in the mixture first and foremost. So Darkrai would be returning because I really love Darkrai. Darkrai's really cool. Animate's really cool in the game already. So put them back in there and probably have them their moveset changed somewhat. Excuse me. Up next, Haxorus. So one of the Pokemon that is in the base game is Garchomp. And although, so as you can see here, I'm going in order of generation. So Shadow Mewtwo is still counting as Gen 1, Hisuian Typhlosion is still counting as Gen 2, 3, 4, 5. And Haxorus, I feel like if I want to include another Dragon type or a Dragon type, because so I feel like some people probably forget that Duraludon is a Dragon type. Haxorus would kind of be the same, would be the one I add where Garchomp has something interesting in its facial design. Haxorus is another one that has something interesting going on with face design, given the axe for its maw or jaws. So that's why Haxorus is here. Because I feel like, Dragon type, and kind of, I think to me, although they look very different, the aesthetic idea within the face is something that I wanted to keep in alignment with Haxorus that wouldn't be where Garchomp wouldn't be here. Up next, Goodra.
Oh no.
Yeah, so another Dragon type. I wanted it to be the case that there is at least 3. So that's why 2 back-to-back dragons. Goodra would be slower, of course. Or I kind of view Haxorus as being faster, Goodra being slower, but also while Duraludon and Goodra in my mind would be both slow dragons, I think Goodra has a difference in the fact that it is like goo. It would be able to play. You'd be able to play around with like its how it utilizes its own body for combat in regards to using its goo to attack and stuff like that. Or at least if you decide to do that, if you were to decide to do that. Up next, Necrozma. Another very threatening Pokemon. I felt like when it comes to the the synergy burst mechanic that is in Pokkén Tournament, I felt like having Necrozma turn into Ultra Necrozma is immediately something that caught my eye as like a very interesting idea. So that is that is why I implemented him. I feel like he would probably be the most interesting synergy burst character. Synergy burst. He would have the most interesting synergy burst usage if I could like picture him in the game, or hopefully he would.
Mm-hmm.
Up next,
Should.
Surfetched.
Hey.
Yeah. This was a character where I wasn't sure if I wanted to put them in the base roster or not. I felt like Surfetched was perfect to be as like, yeah, that's a DLC character, and also, even though Farfetch is a general Pokemon, because this is a new evolution, it counts as Gen 8 representation.
Yeah.
The sword and shield motif literally is right there in regards to representing the game as well, and it would be like an actual knighted Pokemon within the roster.
Yeah, I considered Surfetched as well, but I didn't go for it. So I'm glad that again someone did.
Meanwhile, I'm a psychopath who considered Galarian far-fetched.
You crazy person.
I like the idea of small fucker with big thing, too big for him.
Also, we got another super chat from Lisbon for another 1,000 yen saying not having Rattata Bill is crazy. You know, you guys, Phantom has one left. You never know. You know, Bill from Pokemon, where he turns himself into.
I think he does also a Rattata.
Yeah, that's the Pokemon he's accidentally transformed into.
I thought he just went to something else.
No, in the game, they just use the basic like Clefairy overworld sprite.
Yeah, it's a Clefairy overworld sprite.
Yeah, but in like the manga adaptations and stuff, it's a Rattata that he turns into.
Okay. Right, and the last character, the Iron Valiant. Yeah, so I felt like originally I wasn't sure if I wanted to include Gardevoir and instead switch her out for Gallade.
Mm-hmm.
And in that mindset, I was like, their Iron Valiant not only is kind of Gallade, but also is Gardevoir. I feel like their design is a mixture of both, while also being very, very different. In fact, Gardevoir being like, you know, a robot, the fact that they have a literal weapon in hand, a spear, everything about the design is very interesting, and very interesting, but also like to me still shrouded in mystery because I still don't completely understand how the what's it called, the whole Area Zero like future Pokemon, the Paradox Pokemon thing works.
Yeah.
In terms of like where are they actually coming from a period in time? Are they coming from somebody having thought about these Pokemon, so it's to like kind of reflects like the person's imagination or something? I think so. Having a Pokemon that's kind of also, to me, still shrouded in mystery, while also being very cool, and also but very unique in terms of like its origin and its makeup, because it's not a living, breathing creature in the same way that all of these other Pokemon are. Like the closest you could get to is Savali, which is like a man-made Pokemon, and Mewtwo as well. But Savali has more like kind of robotic parts to it. So Iron Valiant is kind of like all robot, and I think including that final character, would be so starkly different in comparison to every other Pokemon, would be interesting.
Yeah, Iron Valiant was the one Paradox Pokemon I considered to have in mind as well. It's that I don't know a lot because I never beat Scarlet and Violet. I don't know a lot about the Paradox Pokemon. I also had Scarlet, so I wouldn't be able to catch out Iron Valiant anyway. But that's the one that people seem to enjoy and think is like the best one.
How many you guys are like forgetting the most popular man-made
Brian
Pokemon?
Brian Hands?
Yeah,
the fifth most popular Pokemon of all time, Magnemite.
No, Magnemite's my dude.
It's not a Paradox Pokemon though, but Magnemite is.
Magnemite is a man-made, is it?
Nobody knows.
It was supposed to be. It's inconsistent now. LMAO.
Maybe in the original timeline it was man-made, but in the current timeline it's all natural. hatches from an egg.
Magnemite's fucking weird because it existed like 5,000 or what was it, 500 years ago when AZ's cannon went off, which is set before Hisui.
Yeah.
So fuck if I know.
It's existed for at least 3,000 years, according to Bulbapedia.
Yeah,
that's when AZ's thing happens.
It doesn't make sense. Just go with it.
Magnets have been here since the dawn of time, so
they probably just fucked up and didn't care to fix it.
Oh, Magnemite's also in Hisui, like it's in Legends Arceus. So.
No, in Hisui, Magnemite can only appear in
distortions.
The time distortion. However, Magnezone is just flying around because that fucker
I was going to say, Magnezone is just there.
Are you serious?
Magnezone is inherently an actual, like, natural creature, which is hilarious because the implication was that Magnemite and Magneton were not.
In fact, that is interesting. I thought Magnemite was also just normally found because I knew that Magnezone was. So I just assumed they all were.
Yeah, but also, like, they existed before Hisui, so why are they in the time distortion? None of it makes sense. Literally, it's inconsistent on all angles, somehow.
When a Magnemite mother and Magnemite father, but did you think about the third Magnemite in this relationship? When 3 Magnemites and 3 other Magnemites love each other very much. Okay, that's Phantom's roster then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so now we're on to mine. So mine's from the bottom, Slink, and we're just gonna get this out of the way immediately.
Are you doing all veterans first?
Yeah, all veterans first. Just hit that thing. Boom.
Whoa.
I saw literally no reason to cut anyone, given how many open slots we had for new characters anyway. And people like characters who don't like seeing cuts take place. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll keep everyone. I did almost cut Shadow Mewtwo because I kind of felt they were slightly redundant. But then I realized I'd miscounted how many Pokemon I had, so I just added Shadow Mewtwo back in. The 4 at the bottom are DLC. Blastoise, Blaziken, Darkrai, and Aegislash. I actually didn't realize that both Blastoise and Aegislash were DLC already, so it's just a coincidence that they have both shown up there. Like, I remembered Blastoise being there because of DLC, but I thought Aegislash was base game for some reason. As for why Blaziken and Darkrai are DLC. Darkrai just kind of felt like I was going through, I was like, I want a legendary for a veteran DLC. Mewtwo had to be base game. Shadow Mewtwo I all considered putting as DLC, but then I decided, I may as well make them base game as well. So Darkrai
you don't
just
think
kind
people
of
would want to pay for Shadow Mewtwo?
Darkrai sort of fell into this. As for why Blaziken is DLC, I know it's popular, so people would pay for it. But I also I already had 2 fire types on the base roster. And I had 2 grass types on the base roster, and I have 2 water types on the base roster. Although you can only see one of them right now. So I decided that Blaziken may as well be DLC then, and with that. And yeah, I just thought, get all these out of the way. Yeah, no, I always call it Blaziken, but then I was like, I'm now getting really paranoid about how I'm pronouncing things, and there's no E in there.
Blaziken is right though.
Is it Blaziken? So I was right the first time. I'm now like super paranoid about how I pronounce some of these. There's no E there. Whatever. Okay, so now, go to the newcomers, and from the bottom, I've done it bottom up. So first up, we got Beware.
Yeah, I wanted to add Beware into mine.
This is my normal type. So the way I was thinking about this is Pikachu is kind of based on Heihachi, like there's very clear references to Heihachi in the Mishima style and Pikachu's moveset. So I was like, I guess we'll have Kuma as well then. So I wanted to include a bear, and Beware is like one of the more popular bears, I guess. And obviously Pokkén came out when Pokkén Deluxe came out when Sun and Moon was sort of just out, which is why Decidueye is the only Gen 7 Pokemon in the game. And so with this roster, I had to really think about what other gens that have come out since. So the rest of 7, 8, and 9. And kind of put a priority on them. So you won't actually see any like Gen 2 Pokemon coming up. And I've got no other Gen 1 Pokemon either.
Thank God.
There's a lot of new Pokemon coming up here. But yeah, that's Beware. So that's the first one. And up next, we've got the best guy, the best Gen 6 Pokemon. It's Crab Brawler.
I fucking hate you!
Gen 7, it's Crabrawler. He's here.
I felt like one of you guys would put
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love Crabrawler.
So you got two fighting types back to back. Interesting.
But where's the normal type?
Normal fighting.
Is it normal? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Crabrawler's a fighter. He's here. He's the boxer, the boxing champ. Yes. I don't know why I find Crabrawler really funny. I never used him in Sun and Moon, and then at some point I thought of Crabrawler. Like, this was like years ago, and I just thought of him, and I thought he was really, really funny. And since then, he's now like one of my favorite Gen 7 Pokemon. Still never used him. But yeah, I've thrown Crabrawler in here. That's the next boxing Pokemon. Yeah, that's also he's a crab. We don't have a crab on the roster.
Nice. I'm very happy that you didn't pick Abominable, because I actually like Crabrawler's design more.
Yeah. Alright, Obstagoon.
Ooh, nice.
I was trying to think of a sort of healish type Pokemon. And while Incineroar is the heal Pokemon, Incineroar's in Smash Brothers. We've got a lot of fire types. It's a bit boring. Obstagoon is fun though. Like, it was one of the sort of early Gen 8 Pokemon reveals. It's a dark type. Yeah, I think you can just get a lot of like a proper evil heal type with type of moveset with Obstagoon in, and he's like perfect for a fight. Scizor isn't a crab. What are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, he has crab.
No, Scizor is objectively a crab. Okay, so it has a hard carapace, it has pinchy bits, and numerous legs. Those are the three definition parts of a
numerous crab. It has two legs.
That's more than one. That
numerous legs.
Most things have two legs.
Well, then most things
Humans.
are part way to crab. Have you ever thought about carcinization?
Hey, Huff.
Yeah.
Everything becomes crab eventually.
What's Dodrio?
Dodrio is a crab.
No. It's a bird.
Dodrio is objectively a crab.
Wrong.
It has a hardened shell. It has...
What a hardened shell does Dodrio have?
Hang on, let me get the image. Let me get Exhibit A out.
It has fur.
I need to get Exhibit A out.
Yeah, that's
Hang
feathers.
on.
Not even fur. That's feathers. And 2 heads.
The Dodrio has 3 heads. That's the whole point.
Oh, I'm thinking of Doduo.
Slink, post this. Put this on stream.
2 pincers. It's not, those aren't pincers. Those are
That's a Doduo.
The same thing.
I said I
fool.
said
I
Doduo.
didn't even say it.
I said Doduo.
Oh, okay. Hard carapace. What's a carapace?
What universe that are
Hey,
hard
guys.
carapace?
Hey guys, check this out.
This is wrong.
Numerous legs.
Yeah, 2.
2 is more than 1.
In what universe is this a hard carapace? It's
It's
feathers.
not even hard.
Is my
Have you
body
ever
a hard
touched a Doduo?
carapace?
Have you touched a Doduo? Do you know that it is?
It looks
hard.
fluffy. It doesn't look hard.
You probably know by just like using Pokemon on me and be like, yeah, that is not a hard carapace.
That is not a hard carapace.
Look, hang on. All I'm saying is that there was this guy on Twitter, right?
Why are you trusting somebody on Twitter?
No. There's a guy on Twitter
Number 1.
who does carcinization of all Pokemon. And look at what he did for Doduo and Dodrio.
That's just the same thing.
That's my point. He knows that they are crabs.
They're not.
It's just wrong.
Look at the image. I'm
That's
presenting
wrong.
evidence.
I'm looking at your
I
image.
looked at
Your
the
image
image.
is wrong.
For Oddish, you just flipped it upside down.
Yeah, it's a
It's not.
crab.
No, we're moving on. There are no
I'm
hard
sorry, I am
carapaces
speaking
here.
objective truths.
There's no hard carapaces on here.
Look, the chat's
alright.
agreeing with me. That's all I'm saying.
Chat doesn't understand what a crab is. So
Are you insinuating that literally none of the people in chat are marine biologists?
Yes.
exactly that. I'm the only one who's got a crab on the roster, therefore I'm the one who knows the most about.
Oh,
crabs.
you sure about that?
I was the discoverer of Crab Brawler in
Hang
Pokkén.
on, no, time out. Slink, bring up mine.
No.
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 You'll have to wait. All right.
I'm awake now. Thanks for that.
Next one,
Corviknight.
Corviknight. I wanted a flying type. Corviknight is cool flying type. I thought it'd be it's another one of those big Gen 8 Pokemon as well that they really pushed. So yeah, I thought Corviknight is cool and would make for a cool moveset. And if we have Corviknight, then I think we have to have the next one as well. It's the
I want you to know I do not approve of this. This is violence.
This is the natural rivalry
I
between Corviknight and Tinkaton.
That's fucked up.
Hey, Tinkaton, this is where Corviknight can get their revenge, you know?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Like, Tinkaton was like the first Pokemon I decided should be on this roster. Like, of all the Gen 9 Pokemon, it's like insanely popular. It's built for fighting with its big hammer, and like it's a unique type of fighting compared to the other Pokemon that like are here. So Tinkaton was immediately the first one I put on. And then when I was thinking of flying types, I was like, Corviknight might be funny. I'm going to put them next to each other, and they'll have to play nice until chosen. But yeah, Tinkaton just seems like an obvious pick for this. So I'm quite surprised I did it first. But all right.
10.
Yes.
You're the only one.
Wow.
Oh, wow, okay.
Damn, surprising.
Tinkaton was what I was thinking at first. Like, yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to add them, and I was like, that feels too obvious, and I don't want to do that.
All right. Next up then is Quaquat. How
I'm
do you
happy you
pronounce
got
it?
it. Quaquaval.
Quaquaval? Quaquaval.
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 Quaquaval?
We've all
Yeah.
got different ways of pronouncing it.
Okay.
The bird dancer.
I'm happy you added
So
it.
yeah, so like similar to how you were talking about Mr. Rhyme and having like a dancing Pokemon, I thought Quaquaval is that, like the Samba water bird. This is my other water starter as well. And I also figured that people would go with Meowscarder being like the more popular one and also being fairly unique. So I wanted to do something different.
Hey, Nan,
My picks.
can I give you a spoiler?
Oh boy, no one picked Meowscarder.
No one did Meowscarada.
Yeah,
Wow.
I like Quaquaval the most out of the three stars.
Oh, same. I like Quaquaval the most out of the three.
I like
Well-
Fuecoco.
I love Fuecoco. I do not like its final evolution. I was very
I'm in
disappointed.
love with the Fuecoco.
I was thinking about that too when it first got announced. I was like, oh snap, I can make that joke now.
But yeah, Quaquaval is the dancing Pokemon, dancing water bird Pokemon. So yeah,
Nice.
it's just a cool moveset idea. All right, next up, we got Goldengo.
Oh, I'm so happy you did this. You're my go.
I was expecting somebody to have it.
Gold boy.
I
with
was
his
gonna do it, but I had to
surfboard.
cut him last minute.
Yeah, I was like flip-flopping over whether I wanted to do Goldengo or something like Ceruledge and all that, because Ceruledge felt like a Pokemon that should be on here, but then I thought, nah, Goldengo's way funnier. It's got a way more funnier moveset idea potential, and if you can use other Pokemon to bring in whatever Goldengo's first form is, you could probably throw that in for some specials and stuff. Maybe Pokemon Company really likes to push Goldengo as well. So yeah, I went for that. I went for him. He's cool. All right, last base roster character for me. It's Zygarde. So I wanted another legendary, and given that Pokemon ZA is coming out, I was like, yeah, Zygarde
Oh,
would be a good
Jesus, you
choice.
went with complete. You have any idea how big that thing is?
I also would have done that as well. Yeah.
I don't know how big that thing is, but I went
Fucker's
with
like
it
30
anyway.
feet tall.
He is huge.
It's fine. He's just made up of a bunch of different cells. They can like,
The cells can just
Split
construct a
apart.
smaller variant.
yeah, just make smaller zygotes.
You can make
Go
one
for
that
it.
fits the OSHA code.
I think, like, I mean, with Zygarde, because of how it's structured, you could, in theory, have it jump between its different forms, like its dog form and all that, like just transforms on the fly. And I think that would be quite cool. Or like have its dog form be the base, and then when it does that, whatever it was called, Synergy Burst or whatever, it becomes this version of Zygarde.
Right.
Like, I think there's some cool things you could do, but because I really wanted to have another Gen 6 Pokemon, because that seems to be what they want to push now. And I was looking through the Gen 6 list, and I was just like, man, there are no good Pokemon.
Wow.
And then I was like, oh yeah, Zygarde was going to be important soon, and it's a cool Gundam. Let's just get that in there. Although, speaking of robots and Gundam asks, the first DLC pick I've got is Golurk.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was expecting you to say. Well, interesting.
Yeah,
Very
it's
nice
the big golem robot.
He can fly, he can turn himself into a cannon, he's great.
Exactly. He can turn himself into a cannon. That was just the main thing. I was like, hell yeah. He just flips upside down and launches a massive laser beam. Let's go.
Yeah, fucking Golurk is so cool.
Yeah, I've learned to appreciate Golurk after realizing that he wasn't just a golem. He's basically a mech. And because of that, I thought he'd make a really fun, heavy character to have on the roster. And would also give another Gen 5 pick. Golurk's Gen 5,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Gen
Yeah.
5, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Golurk on mine for a while until I didn't.
Good thing I put him on then. Alright, next up, we have another Gen 5 Pokemon, actually. I think it's Gen 5 again. It's Keldeo.
Yeah, that's Gen 5.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I also wanted a horse, and I was thinking over other types of horses I could use. And I thought Keldeo would be a pretty fun one. It's already a fighting type. It has its two different forms, so I've used its transform state, but that could be kept for Synergy Bursts or Supers or something like that. Or just made the default if there's not enough to work with its base Keldeo form. But yeah, I think because it was a fighting type and it has that Horn Slash move and stuff, it could add a bit more than other horses.
Interesting. I do like that pick. I do like Keldeo.
Yeah, it's also like smaller than the one that you had, Brainy Boy, on his icy horse.
Oh, Calyrex.
Yeah, and I was worried about having too many big Pokemon, so Keldeo is a nice small choice. But yeah, okay. Next up, then, we've got one for the degenerates out there. We've got Serena. So, Serena is kind of like how I was thinking about low kicks. I wanted a kicking Pokemon that specifically used its feet.
Thank you for adding Serena. I wanted to. I don't know if nobody pointed it out, but so a joke that I had made was like, I'm gonna add the Pokemon that I personally really like, and as you saw in my roster, Braixen is not there, and I really love Braixen's design. Braixen is not there, and Serena was a Pokemon I was gonna add, and then I didn't put her in because I was like, I'm taking this a little bit more seriously. So the fact that you added Serena, it adds you did what I didn't do, and that makes me very happy.
Congratulations.
You were too afraid to.
Exactly.
You literally said this is for all the degenerates out there, and then Phantom said thank you.
I know my audience. What can I say? I am missing a rock type. I think I said this earlier, but rock type was the only type I don't have on my roster. Golurk's the only ground type I have, just by
No, you have
luck.
Chomp.
Chomp. Is Garchomp a rock type?
Oh, no, ground. You said
Ground, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot Garchomp. I was thinking of him as a dragon type, so... yeah. But yeah, so I wanted a kicking Pokemon that specifically use their legs. Hitmonlee is boring. And I think Serena is a popular Pokemon. I did think of that Hisuian Lilliput, I think it is.
Lilligan.
Lilligan. Lilliput's the pre-form, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah,
Lilliput is the dog.
Oh, it's the dog.
Yeah, Patilil is the.
Patilla. All right, I don't know.
There is no rock type in Pokkén tournament at all, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you added a normal. That's one more type than Pokkén used.
Yeah. But yeah, so Serena. Thought it would be a funny one. Right, what do I have next? There's 2 more left. Oh yeah, next one's a bit of a boring one, but it kind of felt like it should be here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was just like such a natural fit for a game like this, having a proper karate, judo, whatever, kung fu,
Baji Quan,
yeah,
whatever
type it is. I was like, because I know Urshifu's got 2 types, like the single strike and rapid strike style. I feel like you're not meant to be able to like
you can't
have them swap between the 2 of them, but I thought for this it really matter. It's a stance changing Pokemon.
The single strike is the one that they almost always use in marketing, and then the water one is also there.
Yeah, the single strike. That's why I put single strike as the front one for this.
Yeah. Realistically, if you were to do something like this, it would be like your Ken and Ryu multi-strike and single strike.
Yeah,
but,
that was exactly what I was thinking.
But don't waste 2 slots on it. So you're
no. Yeah,
I was considering doing Urshifu, but I didn't want to do 2 slots.
Yeah, no. So yeah, Urshifu, they're there. And then my last DLC is a recent popular Pokemon. But one I don't know much about. It's Ogerpon.
Oh, that's a really interesting choice.
I wanted to end on a legendary Pokemon, and Ogerpon is one that I've seen. I haven't played the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, but Ogerpon is like a really popular one. I think a lot of people have really liked Ogerpon.
I love Ogerpon.
With the different masks at their disposal, I thought that you could potentially do some interesting things for a moveset, and they've got the right kind of build and size and stuff to be a cool little tricky Pokemon to appear in the roster.
It's also kind of a weapon fighter because she does have a Oni mace or club or whatever.
Yeah, and like having it as the last DLC candidate character as well, I thought made a lot of sense. Like how Zygarde's the last base roster character. So yeah, Ogerpon. Also, we got another super chat from Omega saying it's insane that Serena evolves by, checks notes, stepping on other Pokemon.
Nice, let's go.
Rude.
Do not speak to me again.
I think Decoy has the same. He wants to shut this up. But yeah, that's my roster. So is it Huff next?
It's mine. I'm just sitting here in stun because you took away like the wind out of my sails with a few of those choices, and I mean this in the nicest way. As a friend, fuck you.
I am the Crabrawler King now.
Which folder am I starting with? Huff?
It's numbered.
So group
so
1.
Like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I was the silly one who started
you start with 4. You start with 1.
Yeah. I was the only silly one who started from the bottom.
Oh, okay.
You've got reveal all at once.
Yeah, just because the first like 6 are whatever. Yeah. But can you do me a favor and go to number 8 in the 4th row?
In the DLC row.
Yeah. Fuck you, Nan. Fuck you. Crabrawler is one of my favorite Pokemon. Fuck you.
He's the best.
He's just a boxing crab.
Exactly. What's not to love?
Fuck Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan sucks. Why have Hitmonchan when you can have the same thing but crab?
Exactly. This is true.
Yeah, the first 6 are veterans that we've talked about already. I feel like I don't really need to add anything about it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just next.
Why did you use a different render for Pikachu?
Yeah.
I just don't like the Pokkén one.
Okay.
Fair.
But you can notice I used the Smash one for Lucario.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
It's because I also don't like the Lucario render for Pokkén. Like, used card art, Pokemon Unite. I used anything I wanted. Greninja felt like an obligation. I wanted to add Greninja because he's one of the most popular fucking Pokemon of all time. I'm surprised nobody did him, but
I thought about it, but I was like, they didn't bother including him the first time round. It's not a priority anymore.
I wanted to do Incineroar because I like Incineroar more, but like, I didn't want to do both, so unfortunately there is no Incineroar on mine. It makes me sad.
Wah, wah, wah.
Okay, yeah, just reveal the next one.
Alright.
Decidueye. Yeah, it's Decidueye. They did Decidueye.
Mm-hmm.
Veteran, haha.
Is it Decidueye?
Ooh.
I actually wasn't gonna do Cinderace at first. I was gonna do Inteleon just because I think moveset wise he's more interesting. But I realized I didn't add any new fire type starters, and I added another water and grass starter later on, and I'm like, I should probably add a fire one. And I don't think Skeledirge works that well. I didn't want to do Incineroar because Smash. And shit like regular Typhlosion and Infernape and Emboar, I just thought were like, yeah, they work, they just aren't that interesting. So I just went with Cinderace because I also raise rabbits. I like rabbits.
Oh, I don't know. That's cool.
I was expecting someone to pick Cinderace. Cinderace is also one I thought about, but then I decided I didn't want to do any more starters because otherwise the roster was just going to have too many of them.
Yeah. Starters are kind of like the big sale thing. Like the thing that sells.
Yeah.
Also, I made a mistake. Can you reveal 9? Yeah, on click 10. I wanted to do him so much. I like him. I like Dracofish. He's a very good boy.
Dracofish is a very good boy.
I love Dracofish. He's one of my favorites. I couldn't justify it. I had too many water types. Yeah, so Slink, just follow the numbers. Charizard.
Charizard's back. Okay.
Wow. Mr. Mime!
Nice.
Oh.
In a 3D fighter, being able to create like walls and barriers to prevent your opponent from moving is intrinsically unique, and you could like potentially extrapolate on some of its abilities by like setting up a screen that can reflect projectiles or a screen that counters like physical attacks.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just like Mr. Mime. He's popular. He'd be an actually good choice for this. And next up is Caesar.
Okay.
Gen 2 doesn't have many good options, and Blaziken and Empoleon because duh.
Yeah. I really struggled with Gen 2. I wanted to do another Gen 2 as
nice
a little, but it just wasn't anything.
Duat. I think out of all the Gen 5, out of the 9 choices for Gen 5 starters, because like first, second, and third stage, Duat is the one that offers the most, being a dual wielder, water starter, and being relatively smaller. I wanted to represent different stages of Pokemon evolution by having some like base forms, some second stages, etc. And I think Decidueye.
Duat.
Yeah, Duat is the correct choice for Gen 5.
Nice.
And
Duat is I much prefer Duat to Samurott.
Same. I like Samurott. I don't like Samurott attached to Duat, Nashawat.
Yeah. Like it feels like a step back in the evolutionary chain.
Yeah. Like if Samurott was his own thing, I'd be like, yeah, that's a cool Pokemon, but being connected to it just feels so jarring.
Yeah, no. Duat's a cool one.
Aegislash, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Nihilego.
Okay. Very interesting choice.
It's Neil Ego.
What?
I've watched the show. It's Nihilego.
I refuse.
I've always
Nihilego. You just it's Nihilego. You'd be missing out the eye otherwise.
Anyway, Nihilego I feel like is a neat choice for like a grappler type character, being able to like vampire latch onto your opponent for like some grabs and throws.
Mhm.
I wanted to do a rock type. I wanted to represent Ultra Beast, and I feel like Nihilego is one of the ones that does it better.
Nice.
It was
Nihilego a
Buzzwole.
rock type?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's
there's
rock
a rock
poison.
poison.
Weird. I would never have thought of it as a rock type.
Yeah,
I thought of Buzzwole as the only Ultra Beast that I really considered.
Yeah,
but
Buzzwole-
I'm not a fan of the Ultra Beast really. So
Really?
Yeah. Buzzwole was the Ultra Beast for a while until I swapped it for this because I just preferred it.
yeah.
Originally, my rock type was Regirock because I had I had an idea for it because its dex entry talks about how as it takes damage in battle, it loses rocks and replaces them. So I was thinking you could have that be a mechanic where it's like, as you take damage, you get faster because you're becoming lighter.
Hmm.
I thought that was unique, but I didn't do it. I just wanted to bring him up because Regirock is funny. He's gonna Regirock your world. Next up is... I honestly don't even remember who was this. Oh yeah, Poisoroy.
Oh.
Yeah, of
What?
course.
Excuse me, what?
He's an
Poisoroy.
icon.
Iconic seeking evolution that they added in Gen 11.
Yeah, with
Poisoroy.
Christ the Redeemer's
Whose
arms.
hands are the... Oh.
when they go to the Brazil region, you know.
I saw.
Okay.
I forgot I put that on there. Yeah, Floragato.
Oh, okay. So I guess no one did go for Meowscarada.
Yeah, no one did. I went for Floragato.
I mean,
And-
to be honest.
The reason why I did it is pretty simple. At the time of the anime, when they picked Brazen, Serena had a Brazen.
Mhm.
At the time of the anime, when we're building this, Liko has a Floragato.
Oh, okay.
Kind of simple.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I didn't know
yeah.
that. I haven't been watching
Yeah.
keeping up with the anime, so I didn't know that detail.
Yeah, I didn't know that's why they went with Brazen. I thought it was just because it has a better design than Del Fox.
True.
Am
Okay.
I wrong though?
Yeah.
Blastoise,
Blastoise.
nice.
It's Blastoise. What do you want from me?
No.
Mhm.
I want you to know I had this here way before we even like.
Nah.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
No.
He's a
How
crab.
passionate you were earlier
Not a
can
about
tell.
crowd.
being wrong.
I don't even remember who the fuck was supposed to be there. Oh yeah, Mewtwo.
Oh, Mewtwo.
Yeah, it's Mewtwo. He's gonna Mew your 2. What do you want me to say about him? Gardevoir? What do you...
Okay.
Gonna guard your voir.
Krogunk.
Oh, God. Okay, so somebody
He's gonna
kept-
crow your
wait,
gunk.
No, I guess they had also kept Grogunk, but
Weevilly's gonna wheel your vial.
Yeah.
Brazen.
Okay, I kept Brazen because, out of the Pokemon that I think define Pokkén, I would say it's Brazen, Suicune, and Chandelure.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that those are the 3 most important Pokemon for it, and also with Brazen, if you can tell by looking above and to the right, I also have 3 middle stages of the starters
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
with Duat and Floragato.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Thank you for keeping
Halucha.
Brazen. Halucha, nice. Let's
You
go.
also dropped Pikachu Libre for Halucha.
yeah. It's kind of gonna come apparent. I kept every character from the base game because I just like a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so small anyway, fuck it, let them stay. The only ones I cut were Pikachu Libre and Shadow Mewtwo because,
the alts, basically, yeah.
yeah,
Like I considered cutting Pikachu Libre as well, like when I considered cutting Shadow Mewtwo, just to add Holucha, but then I just thought, people like Pikachu Libre, it's funny. so I
Yeah.
kept it.
it was kind of a competition between Halucha and Incineroar, and I prefer Incineroar, but I think Halucha is a more interesting choice for this because he's
Mhm.
not in Smash.
Yeah, I actually considered adding another Pikachu ult at one point.
Detective.
No, that would have been funny. I'm trying to remember what it's specifically called. The one where it's in like the dress.
Bell, I think?
Pikachu Bell, is that it?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I think it's Pikachu Bell was the one I considered adding.
You know, the fact that
Um,
I was able to name that off the top of my head is really disappointing.
Like, I thought that would be that one or the Pikachu Pop Star one. I thought, again, I was just thinking of like what Tekken stuff could they parody in Pokkén, and those two came to mind as options. Kubfu.
Yeah, I went with Kubfu because
Nice.
I think Urshifu is the correct choice. Urshifu should be here, but I decided to go with Kubfu because I like the idea of having like just a smaller character being kind of like a Baji Quan fighter, like Akira Yuki in Virtua Fighter, where it's based on like strong single hits, and them being small and like overexerting themselves is just kind of interesting. Think of it like Makoto from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I just thought the idea was cute. That's it.
Yeah, no, it is cute.
Also, why is Kubfu a legendary?
Because it evolved into legendary too, I guess.
The heck is a Baxcalibur?
Gen 9.
Baxcalibur is the Gen 9 pseudo-legendary. It was a competition between him and Dragapult because Baxcalibur has the funny Glaive Rush move. If you guys haven't seen animation for that, it's fucking hilarious.
I haven't even seen this Pokemon. So...
Oh god. Let me pull... I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. So... It was between Baxcalibur and Dragapult. And Dragapult has the ability to shoot its babies, which is objectively hilarious.
What?
But I ended up going with Baxcalibur because I remember Glaive Rush as a move, and I wanted another ice type.
I just watched the video you shared.
Yeah.
That animation is top tier.
It's so good. It's so goofy.
It's just gonna slide on his head.
Just gonna fucking shoot ice breath in reverse to fire myself like a rocket.
I'm gonna come over and stab you with my back sword.
Okay, Huff.
Yeah.
Before we do the bottom row, I noticed there are 10 layers. I cannot see which one is like a joke, okay? So you need to
Number
go
10 is a joke. It's in the wrong spot. Move it up one.
Okay.
I
you.
noticed that too.
Anticipating.
Wait,
no, you just moved it correctly. 10 should be up one.
No,
right?
10 is supposed to be on top.
10 is
Yeah.
supposed to be on top? Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Wait.
activate 9 first?
No, activate 10 first, right?
Okay, well it stays on bottom then.
You know what? We'll figure it out when we get there. I'm kind of surprised nobody else did Venusaur, to be honest. Finish off the starter trio with the best one. I prefer Venusaur, and having a character with like whips I think is unique, being more like defensive and standoffish. You could do some like grappling moves with the whips, and in Scarlet and Violet they changed his animations to be more hoppy, like he's a frog, and I think that makes it work better for a fighting game opposed to
Yeah,
slow ass dinosaur.
Yeah, slowly trudging along.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And next is Gengar.
Hey, welcome
Hey.
Big fan
Found
of Vor.
back. The Axis, let's go.
Yeah. I didn't have Deoxys on mine for a while, but I noticed something. I had a Pokemon for Gen 2. Like a new Pokemon for Gen 2 that I cut because Slink wanted to do them.
Okay.
And then I realized if I don't do like a character for that, then Gen 2, 3, and 4 would have no newcomers on my roster.
I did same for me. I
Yeah.
decided.
So I just decided, fuck it, I'll throw it a bone, and I was like, either Deoxys or Metagross were the ideas I had, and I just went with Deoxys because I thought it was...
Oh, you mean Gen 3? You said Gen 2.
Oh yeah, Gen 3. Gen 3.
Okay.
It was Deoxys or Metagross, and I opted for Deoxys, even though I prefer Metagross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I actually just completely forgot about Deoxys when I was coming up with mine, with my roster.
Deoxys is perfect for a fighting game, but inherently uninteresting to me because of it.
Excuse me.
And if you just want to reveal the next one.
Ah,
Yeah, they're back.
Mm-hmm.
Mellow.
Oh, Meloetta. That's a cool
Meloetta,
choice.
as a stance change character, I thought was fucking fascinating. It adds a capoeira fighter with pirouette form, and
Oh shit.
a songstress with aria form, and
Yeah.
Nice.
I had Hitmontop and Toxtricity on my roster, and I decided, you know what, fuck both of them. I'm doing Meloetta.
We got asked where the Deoxys art is from. It's from a Pokemon card, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Crabrawler, Baxcalibur, Deoxys, Duwat, Florigato, Nihilego. They're all from cards.
Yeah.
I just cropped the cards because I really like the Pokemon card art.
I wanted to do that as well too.
Melmetal.
This time.
I
Melmetal was
like.
a very interesting pick.
I love Melmetal. He's just a goofy guy. He's despite being made of metal, it's like a liquidy metal, so he can like augment himself to just be
Made of
different
mercury,
forms.
basically.
Yeah, think of him like Helix from ARMS.
Yeah. Like, Melmetal is similar to what I was saying about Zygarde, where you could just kind of, because it's made up of lots of little things,
Right.
Yeah,
you can have it changing its form.
I didn't even realize they did that
fight.
twice.
yeah. I just thought Melmetal would be a good pick.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh yeah, Wo-Chien! Live
Oh,
Wo-Chien
okay.
reaction! That's my dude! I love
Wo-Chien.
Wo-Chien.
The
He's
slug.
just funny. He's just a snail.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Nan. I did Ogre Pod.
Oh, Ogrepod, okay.
Fuck you, Nan.
Haha! I did it first. Yeah. No, I mean, we talked about Ogerpon already. Great, it's a great pick.
Okay.
Look at Crab Brawler and Ogerpon together.
They deserve each other.
They'd be friends.
All right. We're
All
moving
right.
on to the next one.
Yeah, this is the last one. This is yours.
Wow. Okay. So, if you're unaware, usually, we always do this. Sometimes it's late, but after each stream, we put all of our rosters up on Twitter, and then we have a poll asking which one you liked the best. I thought about that for a bit while I was making this. I'm like, what choices do I gotta make? And then I decided, nah, I'd win. Anyway,
Well, now you're not gonna win.
This full confidence. Oh crap! He's got Pikachu.
Oh shit.
Holy fuck, it's Pikachu!
Shit.
okay. So,
Wait, hang on. I just thought about that one video where it's like, oh shit, a rat.
oh shit, a rat!
Okay.
I think I know what Slink's doing.
Everybody?
Oh, no.
Everybody's back?
The champ.
Okay.
How many cuts did you make, Phantom?
Oh, hold on. I'd have to go back to my Photoshop file to see who I cut. I think I cut like half the roster, or something like that. Hold on, let me see. Fucking roster, Jesus Christ. God, where the fuck is the shit? Okay, I cut Pikachu Libre. That's one. I cut Croagunk, Sceptile, Gengar, Machamp, Braixen, Blastoise, Weavile, Garchomp. I cut 9 characters.
Yo, me too!
Oh snap! Nice.
Anyway, here's my next character.
I
powerful.
did this. I'm the reason why this happened.
Nice.
Nice.
Good pick. Good pick.
I was talking with Huff. Huff said, I want to do Bellsprout, but I don't think I'm gonna,
Huff wants to
because I want to do Venusaur. And then I just said, okay, I am then.
King
And
of
then
the
I
little
clapped.
cup. Standing
All right.
ovation.
Next character, Gengar.
Mhm.
I love for. Next character, Slowbro. That's my guy. That's my guy.
He was meant to be in the first game, but he's finally arrived.
I
got
love
lost.
Slowbro. He is like top 10 Pokemon for me. I adore him. Oh, just a disclaimer right now. This isn't a joke roster. I actually wanted to be
Yeah.
here for this one. This is real. This is real.
I'm just
Durant?
posting this in chat because I love this image.
Is it Durant?
It's Slowbro card art that is. This is the worst Pokemon card I've ever seen.
This
because
is
it's
just default art.
It's
Wait,
just
this
the
is for
standard
Pokkén
default
Sugimura,
art.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do
With
this
the
a
background.
lot.
But scroll down to the second attack, 3 strikes.
Flip 3 coins instead as 100. What the hell?
What the?
If all of them are
You
tails,
lose this game?
That is so funny.
I would play this card.
There's just so
I
much
would
going
play
on
this
here.
card.
It's
no way does a card
so
like this.
good.
Why?
This is real.
Also, I
What?
love how you see under the image it says number 80 hermit crab Pokemon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why is he the hermit crab?
Because he lives out of a
You
shell.
got
You see, there's a crab.
I've always been like, what the fuck?
It's a hermit crab.
That's
I knew he was a crab.
insane.
He has a hard carapace and numerous
Alright.
legs.
Okay. So now we're in Gen 2.
Sure.
I got Caesar.
Another crab.
Delibird.
Wow.
This is
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
pick.
shit.
this is
Nice.
the Pokemon. This is basically RNG the character.
Oh
um,
God.
You can heal your opponents or damage them just like in the game.
The Faust character.
I'm thinking of Hercule from
Yeah, I'll
Dragon
think
Ball
of her.
Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Has the exact same give him a gift and so what see what happens.
I adore the idea of this, and I was struggling for flying types and ice types, and I'm like, this would be the funniest one I could pick. Okay, so
Okay.
next up we got Hitmontop.
Ah.
I love the kind of
That's art.
fighting game character that just like breaks it down in the middle of a battle.
Heck yeah, he does.
And I would I would main Hitmontop. That would be so funny.
I considered Hitmontop.
So did I.
He's the best of the Hitmons, so
All right, so next up we got Suicune. Suicune's like a top 5 for me. I really like Suicune. I thought they were super interesting in Pokkén, and I felt like wrong if I was to cut this Pokemon because it's one of the most unique in the game.
yeah.
Next up we got Ludicolo. This was the first
Ooh.
Pokemon that I told
Ooh.
Huff that I was going to do, and then I found out that they were going to do it, but they graciously let me do it. So thank
Yeah,
you
you
for that.
took both my Capoeira fighters, by the
So
way.
that was it for your Gen 2 picks?
Oh yes, that's it for now. Oh, sorry if you guys hear the dishwasher above me. There's just going to be loud noises. I
nice.
nothing I
I
can
can't
do
hear
about
it. I
that.
can't hear
Can't hear
anything.
anything,
This stream will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rip.
Here's
Ludicolo is a cool choice. I didn't even think about it, but it works so well.
Dude, he's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, Gardevoir's here. Sir Knight. Probably also a top 10 for me. I love this Pokemon. And I mained them in the original Pokkén, so I'm not cutting them. Now we're on the Gen 4. We got Empoleon.
Nice.
Welcome back.
Okay. So for this next one, I need to give a little bit of a preamble.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna read out the messages that I had with Huff, the conversation we had that led to this. I haven't thought about my roster much. I have a couple, and then Huff, I have a couple I'm dead set on, but doubt you'd care about them. And then they said the 2 I'm dead set on are Mr. Mime, Ogrepon, and maybe Crab Brawler if I can. That's 2 Pokemon. So I doubt you'd be like into any of them. And then I replied with, nah, probably not. I'd be more likely to do Mime Jr. than Mr. Mime because it'd be funny.
Yeah.
So I gaslit myself into doing Mime Jr.
How do we?
Um,
How have we ended up between us having Mime Junior, Mr. Mime, and Mr. Rhyme?
That is true, yeah. What the fuck?
Okay, somebody needs to make a change. Somebody put Galarian and Mr. Mime on there, so we got the triple flip.
I would have to be the one who does.
We
No,
will have the
don't-
hat trick.
Don't worry about it. Don't
But
worry
every
about
person
it.
picked a mime. That's actually really cool.
The fuck?
I just wanted a really small Pokemon because there's not a lot of them. So I have Pikachu, I have Bellsprout. Now I have Mime Jr.
Nice.
v- I cannot explain it. This was the only one that I wasn't willing to compromise on.
The idea came and it had to stay.
All right, next Pokemon we got Garchomp.
Garchomp is back.
Garchomp's cool. Now we got Rhyperior.
Why is he facing front?
Why
Because
not?
I saw the image
That's
and I was like, I'd use it.
Ew.
Why not? Okay,
When
so
Rhyperior sees you from afar.
I was originally gonna do Rhydon, because that's the first Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, but I was informed that Rhyperior has a function. Would you like to explain what Rhyperior does, Huff?
Yeah, so Rhyperior has like holes in its palms in which it is able to shoot rocks out. And
Oh.
in its dex entries, it makes explicit notice more times than it talks about Rhyperior, by the way. It talks about this more than it talks about Rhyperior. That sometimes it just accidentally shoots out a Geodude.
Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of like what
Oh yeah, I see it.
Cramorant
Geodude
does.
shot at red.
So-
Yeah, Camarants.
So this
Early-
would be a really funny mechanic. What would happen is there's a chance for it to shoot out a Geodude. You could only have like 2 Geodudes on the field at a time, and by on the field at a time I mean once he shoots them out, after
funny.
they hit the enemy,
Mhm.
they become like turrets,
oh,
like
shit.
floating
Oh.
turrets, with it.
To add to this, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, they changed it from Geodude to Roggenrola, the rock type from that game.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Watch out, the
Uh,
holes could either be rocks or Roggenrola.
Okay, I just thought about this. It's really dumb, but I think it would be hilarious if, like, let's say that you shoot the Geodude behind the opponent and it turns into a turret, like you said. But if you shoot a Geodude and it lands in front of them, it just, like, floats up a little bit and then it just starts rotating its arms and walking forward. If you walk into me, it's your fault!
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, it just
Rhyperior's
becomes
brain is-
a little stage hazard.
Yeah.
I like how
also-
I like how,
Ozzy.
sorry, just something I noticed. I like how all of these like things are talking about like how it fires out rocks, fires out Geodudes, and then Pokemon Violet is just like Rhyperior's brain is smaller than a Rhydon's, but the Rhyperior is stronger because it spends more energy on battling and less on brain power.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
I love it when
Uh,
there's dex
dumb
entries
Pokemon.
like that because sometimes they're just like every single dex is the goddamn same, and then one time it's just like, yeah, this Pokemon is the dumbest piece of shit ever. Once I saw it at like Farm and Fleet trying to drink gasoline, like what the fuck, bro?
Jerk.
Ozzy, the reason I turned down Cramorant as a Rhyperior clone that shoots Pikachu is because shooting a Pokemon is not this Pokemon's only function. What the fuck? It
Also,
wouldn't
Pikachu
work.
is playable, so it
Yeah.
would be weird.
Also, okay, next Pokemon, Excadrill.
Nice pick. Nice.
Excadrill is top 10 for me too. Obviously, I'm very biased with this roster, but it's my roster, and I decided for myself that I was going to lose the poll because I did what I wanted to do. But Excadrill is such a cool Pokemon. I just inherently like the whole mole claws, but like they're like really, really sharp steel going on.
Yeah.
It's so good. I noticed Gen 5 didn't really have a lot in
No, it
Pokkén.
has Chandelier, and that's like it.
I think so. So I wanted to expand that a bit. And I also included another favorite of mine. Not exactly top 10, but this is a Pokemon that I tend to always get if I play Black and White, and that's Leavanny.
Leavanny, yeah! I love Leavanny so much.
Yeah. I just like the way this Pokemon looks, and I wanted the like whole like sword arms, but I didn't want to do Sceptile because I don't care.
Damn.
So I went with this instead because it would be I think inherently just funnier, because they just be swinging their arms up and down like scythes instead of like backhanding the sword blade. Next up we got Malamar.
Interesting. I considered it for a little bit.
Interesting choice.
I picked this one because it's funny. I really like the idea of this Pokemon just having rotation as part of its
You can just flip a fucker over.
Yeah, it just flips over.
Whole stage.
Just flips over. His super would be flipping the whole stage. It would just turn the camera upside down, but it would really mess with people, including the player playing as Malamar.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Combos upside down.
All right. Next up we got Tyrantrum.
Ooh.
So Tyrantrum is a big old T-Rex. It's literally just a T-Rex. But its whole deal is it has a very strong jaw. And its arms are way too short to grab. So instead, it will grab you with its entire maw.
Nice.
And that would just be great. This is also like my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon, so it's gonna be here anyway. And finally, we got Sylveon.
Nice.
Like Suicune,
yeah.
it would grab opponents with its tendrils. It's been shown to do that in other media too. And I wanted
ribbons. Thank
flesh
you.
ribbons. Flesh ribbons. Okay. And it would be another quadruped, and that's like that. I want more of that. I wanted to have Ursaluna, as I said before, but we just forgot. And next up we got Gen 7 Oricorio. So I realized I only had one electric type and one flying type. This was before I added Delibird, but I decided to just take out a bird with two birds with one stone. And
Literally.
used and used the pom-pom style of Oricorio because I thought it would be funny.
It's funny that you say that because a stone would literally kill Oricorio.
Yeah.
So true.
I'm now realizing, is that why birds are weak to rock typed moves?
Yeah.
Right? Just literally because of that saying.
Well, I mean, if you weigh a bear down by its wings, you know it can't fly.
I mean, I guess.
Okay.
If I tied a rock to a fish, it couldn't swim. So.
Yeah, if you like tie a let's say that you can drown a bird too. That doesn't mean it's weak to it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like it's different.
I mean, if you way
Okay.
down a
That's
bird
enough.
with water, it
It's
would
different.
also
We're,
not
we're,
fly.
we're all right. We're good. Okay, so you guys can't see this. Actually, no, you can. Okay, I'm gonna drag this on screen. I don't know how well you can read this, but this is the layers. If you see, I have all of them numbered, except for the next one.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
forgot I did that.
And the reason for that, for all of those familiar with this Pokemon,
It's a crab.
it sure is
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god, it's gonna be
It's
huge.
Guzzlord.
Yeah.
Guzzlord's size is already incredibly consistent. I don't care. I said inconsistent, right?
No,
Yeah.
you said
You said
consistent.
You said
Oh my
consistent.
god. Guzzlord's size is already inconsistent, so whatever, I don't care. It is so funny. Guzzlord is the funniest Pokemon in existence. Why did they make it sound like that? Did you guys remember Guzzlord is a dragon type? What the fuck?
I mean, it looks like a dragon. The weird.
That's
No,
me.
No, it
No, it
fucking
doesn't.
doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know. It's got the tail and the stuff. It's got the spikes on the back.
It's like a dark water.
It's got dragon design elements to it.
I mean, it has like wing things on
yeah,
its
the
head,
winged
but that's like
eyebrows.
it.
I don't know. It's got the dragon's tail. It's got a mace on its morning star
Isn't
type
its
of
tail
tail.
just another
It's got
mouth?
dragon its hands are like dragon claws.
I guess.
All right. Next up, we've got Necrozma.
Hey.
I cut a certain other psychic type Pokemon, so I added Necrozma.
Certain other.
I don't know. A Mewtwo.
You could
Next up, we got Rillaboom. Funny
Hey.
monkey. I inherently like the idea of Rillaboom in a fighting game, because they just carry around a giant barrel or drum. They carry around a giant drum that is the size of a barrel, and I just like the imagery of Rillaboom just throwing that thing around and smacking people with it. I think it would also be very funny if their super move was Donkey Kong's Final Smash before Ultimate. Anyway, I also
Obstagoon.
had Obstagoon because
Nice.
he's funny. He looks so silly.
Great.
I love him. He's such a goober. And then finally, I
Hey, Galarian Dominic.
Galarian Darmanitan.
Nice.
I made these icons. I chose as many funny ones as I could. I chose front-facing Darmanitan.
Darmanitan knows where you sleep.
Like,
Yeah.
you can tell which ones like I put more effort into because I thought the idea was like interesting. There's two types of icons, like shit like Hitmontop, where I'm like, oh, that's a very unique idea. Let me crop out this card art. And then there's shit like Rhyperior, where it's like, hey, I found a funny image. Can I use this?
But yeah, I was lacking in ice types, and then I'm like, this is the funniest one I could pick for the roster because it is not even supposed to be an ice type. So I went with it.
All right, so this is your base game.
This is the base game.
All right.
So DLC.
For DLC,
time.
we're starting with 3 returning characters. We've got 3 starters to
Ah.
CGY, Blaziken,
Okay.
and Blastoise.
Mhm.
Grass, fire, water. Interesting.
Yep,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Next up, new character, Heracross.
Hey.
Nice. Okay.
I believe the next one is another. We
Ooh,
got
I
Corphish.
like Corphish.
I love
Corphish
Corphish.
is such a funny little guy. He says his name.
Does Corphish?
I
love Corphish.
I do have 4 crabs. Depending
No, that's a
on your-
crawdad. That's different.
What?
Okay.
Hmm?
All right.
Corefish.
Uh,
Another
Oh, Lucario's this.
So
Okay.
Lucario's back, and also Chandelure.
All right.
And then the last two are new Pokemon. We've got Marowak, a Alolan form. Because I really
Nice.
like its twirly
Mhm.
fire moan antics.
Really cool.
It's
and
cool one,
then
yeah.
the very last Pokemon is Hisuian Soror.
Ah,
I
nice.
thought I was being unique with this one. God damn.
No Gen 9 Pokemon then.
Because you
Yes.
didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
I did play Scarlet and Violet.
I thought you said you didn't know any of them.
Oh, I don't know them because I don't like recognize names. I said I don't know
Okay.
like names or beyond Gen 4, and I said that I can't recognize just appearances in general beyond Gen 4. Aside from Pokemon
okay.
that I actually like used or were encountered
Mhm.
in
Gotcha,
like the
gotcha.
story.
Okay.
I did play
Yeah.
Gen 9, and because I played Gen 9, there is no Gen 9 Pokemon.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. Fair.
Look, all I'm saying is, I think it would have been funnier if the only Gen 9 Pokemon was Flamigo. It's just a Flamigo.
Flamigo.
No, God, I should have made an icon of Flamigo that is just... it's not even the fucking Pokemon, it's just a goddamn Flamingo.
An actual flamingo. Picture.
I have
I mean,
been
that's basically
told.
what it is.
I have been told, informed that there is a secret fifth roster, by our good friend and contributor Creeks, who couldn't be here with us today. They told me to
Rest
put
in
it up
peace.
on screen.
Nice, there it
This
is.
is their roster.
Yep.
So part of this roster, we have Big
Yeah.
Snorlax. We got Squirtle in the background.
Yeah, we got
We have,
We got
Mario,
Yoshi,
Sonic,
Sonic,
Tails.
Tails.
I think that's Pichu there.
That's Pichu to the left.
Got
That might be a
Minecraft Fox.
Rowlet.
Yeah,
That might be a Rowlet behind
Yeah.
Snorlax.
Minecraft Fox.
two more Snorlaxes to the bottom left.
Small axe, and Snorlax.
Is that Squirtle in
And-
the bottom right?
Yeah, it's Squirtle and Charmander, I'm guessing,
Yeah,
next
I
to
think
it.
that's
Yeah, I
Charmander.
think so.
Yes. Cool roster, Creeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you
A lot of
very
guest
much.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally would have gone with Minecraft Armadillo, but I get it.
Hey,
There's
Warrior,
armadillos in Minecraft.
Warrior the
Oh,
Legend.
no?
Oh,
Warrior the Legend donated $2 and said, "Where is Tranquil? Where is
Don't
Tranquil
even
in
know
the-"
what
Not here.
Tranquil is.
support Pokemon. Trickle's a support Pokemon. There you go.
Yeah, every Pokemon that you wanted to see on here that isn't is actually a
Support.
support Pokemon. It's just on the side.
Mhm.
So true.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Yoshi, the best Pokemon.
All right.
Yeah, I heard that if you okay, I heard that if you beat the Elite Four 2,000 times and then you shove an entire light bulb up your ass, you unlock Yoshi and Mario Kart 8.
Told you
I
that.
don't know. See, what you need to do, right, is you got to get Pokemon Blue, and then you got to trade a Dratini to Pokemon Red, and then in Blue version, then you evolve Dratini to Dragonite, and then trade it back to Red, and then go to the basement of the where Mewtwo is of the final dungeon, and then get a Firestone, and then use it on Dragonite, and then you'll get Yoshi.
And then you draw Yoshi on a sticky note and put it on your Game Boy Advance. He's there.
Yes. There he is. No, this is an actual like April Fool's Day thing, I think.
Yeah, there was one in it was a magazine. I don't remember if it was an
Yeah, it's
official
a magazine.
It was
I think it was
EGM.
official.
It's always EGM.
Oh, okay, EGM. Okay.
No, it was the
I
April
thought-
1999 edition of Expert Gamer magazine. I guess that is what EGM stands for. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that.
I just saw your
I
tweet.
didn't just learn a thing.
I'm correcting you with the correct information that you also presented.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this stream. It was fun.
Mhm.
Within a week, we will be putting up the poll for the next stream. And within today, if you check our Twitter, within the hour, all of our rosters will be put up, and you can vote for which one you liked the best. I am very, very fortunate to have so many lovely patrons, and by I mean we here at Source Gaming. This end screen is
if
not
you're not-
playing.
If
There
you're
it
not
is.
on that patron list, you're not lovely. That's just how it works.
Unfortunate, but you can be if you subscribe to our Patreon. And also leave a like on the video, of course, that always helps. Comment down below which one was your favorite roster.
Tell us what your favorite Pokemon is.
Oh yeah, tell us
And
what your
also
favorite
what
Pokemon
your
is.
least favorite Pokemon is.
Yeah,
And make them separate comments as well.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And also say crab.
Yes. If you made it to the end of this stream, also say crab.
Crab Nation, Crab Nation.
Crab gang.
Carcinization Nation, rise up.
Doduo is not a crab, is what you need to say.
Oh yeah, Dodo is not a crab.
Not a crab.
Doduo is a crab objectively. It has a hard carapace.
No.
It does not have a hard carapace.
Have you touched a Doduo?
Have you?
Maybe
Yes.
I have.
I have a Doduo action figure.
Yeah, alright. It's very hard because it's an action figure. It's plastic.
It's the same. What? You think he's not made of plastic? It's a direct.
Crabs aren't made of plastic.